So it's great to hear about this MOU. Thank you very much, Luis. Speaking about mobile phones, in many places around the world, the mobile phones are the primary mode of communication. And there are many opportunities to bring the power of mobile phones and telecenters together to have a greater impact. Text to Change is an organization working on this very issue. Eunice Gnay Namirembe, the country director of Text to Change, is going to be our next speaker, and she's going to tell us more about the power of mobile phone and telecenters in sub-Saharan Africa. So let's welcome Eunice.
Thank you very much. As introduced, I'm Eunice. I work with Text to Change back in Uganda. We have 2 offices, one in Amsterdam, and I head the office back in Uganda for the Africa operations. I'm here today to sort of highlight us about mobile and telecenters. The key note today that I want to bring is mobile needs telecenters, and telecenters will need mobile. So if anything that you can take away from here today as I speak, at least take that one statement. I will just give you a sneak peek of SMS. Mostly what Text to Change has been doing is we first started programs in SMS, and then now it's becoming more innovative, and as I get along, I'll be talking about that. As you know, SMS is now the most intensively used data communication technology in the world, and at least every day someone has to send an SMS. And close to 200 text messages are sent every second in the world. So this is just statistics for us in SMS that I try to gather and collect for us today. Text to Change is a we do social, mobile in social change, and we've worked in about 17 countries right now in Africa and South America. We were pioneers in scaling simple mobile technologies with a measurable social impact. What we dwell on and our main tag is simplicity. Just use simple SMS to be able to share information all over the world. We've been existing for 5 years, and so far we've worked with 67 projects all over the world. And those are some of the accolades that I bring together as Text to Change has achieved over the years. It's become very innovative. The partners are challenging us to think more of how to use mobile. And recently, today, what I'm trying to explain to you or bring to you is the innovative way that we've been able to use mobile and telecenter. So some of the best practices that we've done have been in health, agriculture, and education. And of course, what is very close to me is the health component that brings the maternal health. With the agriculture project, we've done it in Kenya, and there's an ICT center that is set up somewhere in the eastern part of Kenya. It's in Kisumu. It's very well connected to the internet. And the youth love this ICT center. They're the ones that actually access it the most. So we wanted to bridge that gap from the youth and the elderly people. The elderly people fear the computers. So we were like, how do we bridge that gap? So the youth come to the center. They research some of the information. They even help us to get content that we share on mobile. And then we also use the telecenter for especially value addition in agriculture. So as a result of this telecenter, they've come up with a very good value addition program on sweet potatoes, and they're trying to make flour and be able to share it to the rest of the world. And another critical thing about mobile here is that we remind the youth and other people to come to the telecenter and access information. We found that if we remind the people via SMS, and we tell them the time to come, there's been more people coming to the telecenter at that time that we asked them to come. And for health, we've worked with, especially in maternal health, we find that why this program is very, very different is we found that the women were not coming to the telecenter, and we were like, but we need to reach them with information on maternal health, we need to reach them with information on ANC, and also because the English, they don't know English. So we found that mobile was a very good way to reach the women. So we coupled this with sending them information via mobile on maternal health. We send them information about ANC, about sanitation, And then we would get this information from the ICT center and send it via mobile. And we found that also the women were not coming because they are busy people. Rural women, the first thing that comes to them is my child and my environment. So, but we want to train them in using the ICT center. So we found a very special time for them and a special day for them so that they can come and use the ICT center. Though mobile has been able to bridge the gap between the illiterate part and of the women as well. This is just a slide for us to see how do we marry the two? How do we marry a telecenter and mobile? When you train the youth at the telecenter, they want a certificate. So how do we handle that? But again, I also find that with mobile, it could be able to curb illiteracy for us. If someone cannot be able to come to the computer and everything is in English, then at least you can be able to send them information on the mobile, either by voice or by SMS in the language that they understand. And also we found that the telecenters, there's a challenge for rural electrification powering the telecenter. So even if they cannot be able to get information from the telecenter, they can still get it via mobile. We have another thing I want to emphasize about government participation in a telecenter, especially for sustainability purposes. That should also happen for us also for the mobile technology. But another thing is also mobile technology closes the language barrier gap, like I explained before. And another thing, mobile can be cheap, but also mobile can be expensive. Setting up mobile programs is not very cheap, actually. It might be cheap to be able to reach people, but it's also expensive setting up a mobile technology program. So you have to look at what are the different ways and what are the innovative ways that you're going to use mobile for. There's also something that I want to highlight, information storage. Telecenters, I can store my information. But with mobile, I have my information everywhere. So I found that mobile, the women were keeping this information and they were carrying it on even to other pregnancies that they had. So whenever I sent that ANC information, they used it on another woman as well, and then they also stored it for the next time that they needed it. But still we need telecenters for research, because telecenters will already connect us to the world, help us to enable us to do greater research, and then we're able to share that information on mobile. There are very many opportunities between telecenter and mobile that I've not highlighted here, but I still believe that telecenters need mobile, and mobile needs telecenters. That's one of the pictures that I took when I was in Samburu, northern Kenya, where no one knows about what's happening in the world, and the only way that I could reach them on the recently finished election in Kenya was just through voice, to tell them that please go and vote. And I was able to do that program, and within about 2 weeks I had over 100,000 calls coming in, and people were very many that went to vote. So I still believe that mobile is a strong tool, but it still needs a telecenter to function. Thank you very much.